What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the B1KER Bar Podcast live stream. Episode 65, man. We got today the Shredist on. I'm really stoked to have this conversation. I just met the guy, like, I guess you could say virtually for the first time, other than just watching his channel like a couple of minutes ago. So I'm kind of excited to chat with him. But first, let's do the things that we do at the beginning all the time, right? You know, this show is sponsored by the guys over on Patreon. All you guys that are on my Patreon, you guys are sponsoring this show because I can't find anybody else to do it. And you guys are pretty faithful. So I have all my trust and all my faith in you guys for hooking me up. You keep the beer fridge full for $5 a month. You could get a sticker pack. That's pretty cool. Those are made by Sticker. And for $1 a month, you can just kick down some money. It's like you get a beer at the bar. Back when we used to be able to go to the bar and you just give the guy a tip for $1. You're like, hey, that's not that bad. You watch this show, you can give me a tip for $1. It's not that bad either. And then you get access to the coupons that I have on there. So usually when I talk to different vendors, they'll hook me up with a discount code. So I'll put those up on there. And most people, especially the ones that are doing the $1 a month, they're definitely saving more than what they are paying. That's no doubt about that. If you guys like this podcast, give it a review. I say this every time, but I really like going online reading them. It's pretty cool to see. Plus, I think it helps. I don't know anything about podcasts. I just do one, but I'm pretty sure it helps it get like more recognition if it has more reviews. At least that's like what I'm thinking. If you guys enjoy the podcast, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. If you want to know more about what is going on with the channel and me, go to my Instagram or my Facebook page. It's at B1KER, so B1KER B1. And I post a lot of stuff up there. And so I think it's pretty fun to be on there. I don't know if it's not, though, because of course I'm like, you know, just stuck on myself and I like my own pictures and whatever. If you guys super chat, man, I'm super stoked about that. I really appreciate it. I don't always get a chance to like say thanks or whatever. And, but I want you guys to know, like, seriously, it means a lot and it definitely helps the channel. Like, for instance, I was just talking to Jim from the Shredist and told him I needed to get a new laptop because it was either quit doing YouTube or get a new laptop, because I was like, probably like 0.3 centimeters from throwing that thing out the window the last time I was editing a video. So you guys on Patreon and you guys that do the super chats and stuff like that, that's what keeps the channel going. And I wish it was as easy as just buying a GoPro like I thought when I started, but apparently that's not the case. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to switch over here to Jim. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Not bad, man. I'm enjoying life, dude. I can't complain. Yesterday we went up to Tahoe and we did this ride. The trail is at like the highest elevation of a legit mountain bike ride in the Tahoe Basin. And it's like almost 10,000 feet. Oh, and wow. the descent was freaking so like everything that you want a mountain bike ride to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
a good mix of everything.
Yeah, you know, it's just like fast and chunky, and like the berms were perfect and the weather was great, you know, good people, and just everything was dialed. So then today, you know, I did like a ride at the one of the local places, and I'm like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know how that goes. I'm pretty fortunate to have some pretty good trail systems around here, but it's kind of slim pickings beyond that for us. So it's always nice to get out and travel.
You said you're in northern Idaho, like way up there in the top, like almost.
Yeah, where it gets pretty skinny.
Yeah,
towards the skinny part. Yeah, northern Idaho, inland northwest area, smack dab between Montana and Washington. So we got a pretty good slew of trails to choose from. We have like 5 ski resorts up here, and in the summer you can pretty much mountain bike on all of them, except for maybe like one. But yeah,
do they all have like like trail systems built on them, or is it like you can just go over there and just ride?
So 2 of them have lift service, which is Silver Mountain, which I've done a lot of videos on Silver Mountain, a lot of raw ride videos, and Schweitzer Mountain, which is the one I did my anniversary video on and almost killed my wife.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's the one I took her down to double black on because she was like, I could walk anything. I was like, okay, don't kill me.
Be careful what you say.
Exactly. So we did a lot of walking that day. It was a good time. But anyway, yeah, those are the 2 lift service mountains, and then Mount Spokane has some really good shuttle trails and stuff, and it has probably like a 20-30 minute descent on Mount Spokane, so it's a pretty fun one.
Right on, dude. Did you grow up there, or did you just end up there? Or
I did. We live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's where I was born. I went away went away for college over in Cheney, Washington, which isn't too far. But yeah, I've kind of been in this area my whole life. I wanted to maybe move, you're fresh out of college. I'm going to go to the big city, go to Seattle or Portland. And those would have been awesome. But I kind of met Sarah in college, which totally changed plans. So we just
funny how life does that, right?
I know. Yeah. And I got an internship out of college, and I was starting to work, and it just didn't pan out. So this is where I remain.
Yeah. Life is funny how it like does stuff, People ask me, I'm not from California. I'm from Pennsylvania originally. And people always ask me like how I ended up out here. And I always tell them I came out here to be a rock star. Yeah. And then they just kind of like laugh at me, and I'm like, no, like seriously, like I like wanted to be in the music business. So I like came out here and I like went to school for studio recording and all this stuff, and like, had the old garage band and all that crap. And like somehow or another I ended up doing IT, and now here I am on YouTube, right? So
that's actually when I went to college, I initially went for music composition. So I got a music minor instead. So I was like, I'm going to go to Portland, start a band, record albums, do all that stuff, and kind of life reeled me in. I'm like, come back.
That's funny. Yeah, I had an interview and pretty much like bagged this job at like a major studio in Berkeley, and they had just done like the Green Day Santana album, like they did like the Foley work for like 6 Cents, so it was a big studio. And it was a good job, but like you start out in that business like at the bottom, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you're like a mic cleaner,
Yeah.
and they wanted to pay me like minimum wage. It was like $6 an hour or something like that at the time,
In Berkeley too.
Right. And like I lived in the Bay Area, and so it was like, well, I could do it, but it was like I made like $5 more an hour like at Home Depot at the time.
Ooh,
and and it was like one of those things where it was like, I think, I chased my dream, and I don't think it's my dream anymore.
The dream's changing a little bit.
Yeah. And so like, it's just weird how things happen like that. So you went to school, if I remember correctly, you're a graphic artist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what you went to school for?
Yeah. Eventually, after like 8 major changes, settled on graphic design. Don't even get me started on that. But ended up on graphic design with an emphasis on web development, and ended up doing web design for about 5 or 6 years, and left industry and just started doing freelance, doing this on the side. And this is starting to take up a good amount of time. So just kind of juggling those 2 things.
That's pretty cool. I always wanted to learn how to do like web stuff whenever I was going to school. And I like had a ridiculous like packed schedule of, I had kids and a full-time job, and was doing like 18 credits in college at the same time. So it was like everything was like super packed, and I couldn't get an HTML class. And so I ended up just teaching myself online. And it's been fun, man. It's like always was like a really like creative thing for me, to like build websites and stuff like that. But now it's like, back in the day, I remember I would be all stoked. I'd like code everything, and now I'm like, WordPress, give me a plugin.
I've built sites from scratch and stuff, and now I'm just like, Squarespace.
Yeah, right.
They've done it for me. Why not?
Right. Why do
I might get
do
some flack for saying that, but oh man, it's so nice to just point and click.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like the e-bike of the web industry, right? You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no struggle.
Right, exactly. Oh my God, the guy I was riding with today, one of the guys I was riding with had an e-bike, and I got on it at the end of the ride. We were like sitting on the side of the street, and I like pedaled that thing, and holy shit, dude, it just took off. Like I couldn't believe like how much power was in that.
Oh God, I know.
Have you ridden one?
I have. My buddy Matt, he's actually the owner of Dialed MTB. He's one of my Mudguard sponsors.
I know that dude. Yeah. He's done some stuff in the past. Yeah.
Awesome, cool guy. He actually lent me his bike for like 2 weeks. Just like, take it, go ride it, have fun. And yeah, the first time I jumped on that, you give it a pedal, and it's just like, whoa. Oh,
yeah.
My hat.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like when I don't know, I haven't ridden one like legitimately on the trail yet, you know, but every time that's like the second time I've sat on one and just like pedaled it around. It just blows my mind. And
well, they're getting better and better, like with the geometry.
Yeah.
It's not so steep and twitchy anymore.
Yeah.
I went on a ride with Matt again. It was a super fun ride, but about 2 miles from the top, we ran out of battery on the way back in the rain, and it was a good time pushing an e-bike up. But until then, it was just such a blast, because going up the trail, it's like riding a little motorcycle. Like it reminded me of doing single track on my dirt bike going up, and then going down, it's like a mountain bike. So they're rad. I like it.
It's hard, you know, like part of me, I always want to say like, oh, if I got one, it would be like I would use it here and there. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like I always tell people there's a spot that we'll do like some self-shuttling and have some fun. But I always think, man, the time that we spend like setting trucks up and stuff, if we had e-bikes, we could just do laps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And I love pedaling, dude. And I as much as I bitch about climbing on my channel, like I do like it. You know what I mean? It's like part of the pay to play or whatever, you know, like part of getting your soul straight on a bike, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I just questioned though. Like I was like thinking about it as we were riding with this guy today, and I was just like, man, if I had one, like, I mean, we could have done 3 laps of what we did today, and I would have burned just as many calories because I would have been pedaling the whole damn time. Like, it makes you wonder.
It still makes you sweat.
Yeah, if you get one, like, would you end up like not riding your like analog bike, or what do you think?
That is one reason why I haven't tried to get one yet.
Yeah,
I know that I probably would go to the e-bike quicker, just because you get more downhill time.
Right.
Usually when you go out, like my main riding spot, Beacon, it's about a 25-minute pedal up and then an 8-minute descent. So if you had an e-bike, you get a 10-minute ascent and a 10-minute descent. So
yeah,
it's that fine line. I'd still ride the regular bike for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I want to say that, yeah, dude, I'd still ride my regular bike. But then there's the other part of me where it's like, it's just like what you said, where it's like, man, like if I went out, like where I go ride, I ride a lot in this place called Auburn. And, you know, one of the loops that I do is like, I don't know, 24 miles or something like that. Right. It's a couple hours. Like I could do that in like an hour. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like be back at the house, or, you know, or like, and it's not like, I don't know. It's just crazy to think about.
Well, and also the point that you can unlock new terrain with it. You can go places that you can go on a day ride. That one ride where we ran out of battery, we rode like 5 miles, a new single track that I haven't touched before, because it goes up and then down. And if you're on a regular bike, you'd have to climb back out. But on an e-bike, it was, you can do it. Which is
awesome. The other thing too is like I was watching that dude today, and it's like even the climbing was fun for him. Like it was like he's like, you know, like shooting up the hill and like, you know, poop, you know, like, and it's like, what the hell, dude? Like I'm over here hating my life right now because, you know, and like, it's funny, man. It's definitely, I feel like it's a catch-22, man. You know what I mean?
It is.
But
if you say that you're an e-bike fan, just God help you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Don't talk about politics, religion, or e-bikes.
Yeah. Same sin, man. Don't do it.
Right. So Sarah's the lady's name, right?
Sarah is the lady's name, yes.
So you said you guys met in college?
We did, yes.
How'd you meet in college?
Oh, that's kind of a funny story. So we were in our VCD design class, which is visual communications and design, the core course, where you just design advertisements and stuff. And she really liked one of my projects. You'd go up in front of the class, present it, and then you get critique from the crowd, essentially. And she liked my project and evidently liked me at the time, I guess. And ended up saying something along the lines of, I love your project so much, I want your brain. And like, I thought I was being funny back, and I just said, well, you can't have it. And nothing else. And she, from that moment, she hated me. She's like, that guy is a dick. So like the rest of that class that semester didn't talk at all. And then we ended up having a few more classes and ended up just kind of, I think we got in a group project together eventually and just started talking. And she's like, oh, he's not that mean.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Just has a shitty sense of humor.
Just a shitty sense of humor. Oh God, that gets me in trouble so much. My sense of humor. It's so dry.
You and me both, dude. Even like my lady, she's all the time. She's like, I'll say something to her, and she'll every once in a while she's like, so wait, are you being serious or were you being sarcastic? I'm like, what do you mean? And like sometimes it'll be something like you really think I'd say something like that to you? And like that's pretty mean. And she's like, well, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, man, I must be a real piece of work. I don't know
why the delivery. Yeah.
Right? That's too much, man. Oh man. What's your dog's name? I wrote it in the show more and now I can't remember what it was.
Agnew. That's his real name, but he has 1,000 nicknames.
Yeah. Where's Agnew? That's all I remembered was the name was like, it was different. So it's like, where'd that come from?
So one of our favorite shows is Futurama, the cartoon. And the name is Nixon's vice president from that show, because on the show, he has no head and all he does is grunt and makes a lot of noises. So we thought that'd be a good name for a dog because that's all they can do.
Right on.
So that's his name is Agnew.
What kind of dog is he?
He's an Aussie Border Collie mix, and he's super, super shy. In my videos, he's like the cutest dog.
Yeah.
He plays with you. He's not afraid of people. In real life, like you can't touch the dog.
Yeah.
So we, at the last race we did, the race organizer, we brought him to the packet pickup. And the race organizer was like, oh, pretty dog, I want to pet your dog. And I swear he like almost ripped that leash in half trying to get away from him so quickly. It's like, God, Agnew, he's just trying to pet you, man. He loves you too.
Right? Was he a rescue or something, or he's just super
kind of. We got him from a Craigslist ad, and when we got there, the conditions weren't the greatest. So it was, I kind of categorize it as a rescue the way we got him. And he was the one that was stuck in the corner. When we were looking at the dogs, like I had 3 jumping on me, licking my face, and Sarah goes over to the corner and it's like, I want the one that looks scared in the corner. I was like, I get that, but this one's licking my face. So we were playing with the dogs a little bit more, and the Agnew was walking along the fence and was like all sheepish, and one of the puppies like snipped at him and he was like, oh no. And then like went over to the mom, and then the mom like bit his face through the fence.
Oh no.
And I was like, yes, we're going to get this one. Beat up one.
He needs help.
He needs so much help. And it was tough at first. Honestly, you wouldn't think having a dog that nervous would be a stressor, but yeah, just like trying to go in public places, do anything. It's just like he was a wreck, but he's gotten a lot better since then.
Yeah. Ours, we have a lab, and he's a hot mess, man. I mean, they're great dogs. I mean, I love them for like a million reasons, but you know, like you just said, like with your dog, like there's always something like that's a little unexpected. You know what I mean? Like when you get, you know, and you kind of have to like work with that or figure that out. And ours is like, he gets like super excited about like a lot of things, but especially like water and stuff like that. And you would think like when we go to the river and like maybe we're like trying to keep him on leash until we like get to where we're actually gonna like mess around with him at,
Yeah.
People literally think that we're like hanging the dog from the tree. Like it's like, like everybody's looking like he's like getting hung or like beat or we're kicking him or something. It's just like,
we love him. We swear.
Yeah. I swear. And like the one time we went down there, it was like opened up the truck door. I wasn't really thinking, dude. And he just like, he's down to the river already. And it's like, 200 yards away from where we're parked. I'm like, dang, oh, well, whatever, we get down there, and he's got somebody's football in his mouth and he's like swimming around in the river. And I'm like, oh God, and everybody's like, whose dog is this? And you just walk out on the beach. You're like, that's
he's
not
mine. Yeah. He's great, isn't he?
Yeah. But he's a lot of fun though, man. I love him. Like, I don't know. I like labs. They're water dogs. And so I like being in the water and I don't know. He's a big dummy, but he's our big dummy. So
oh yeah. No, ours is our little sheepish, scared dog. Yeah. We love him too much. So
yeah. We used to have a Jack Russell. It was my lady's dog when we first got together, and that dog was funny, dude. Like we would it hated every animal on TV. Like, oh yeah. And it didn't matter if it was like even a cartoon animal. Like it knew like that's a cartoon bear. I don't like it. And so it would like bark at and what it would do is like the animal would come on the TV and then Sammy was the dog's name. She'd jump up, start barking, and then she'd take off running at the TV, and then she'd like go around the back of the TV because she thought like she was going to chase the animal, and then she'd be back there like, how did it go?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like, and then like she knew like I can't remember that. There's like a dog food commercial and it had like a little jingle that they always play. And like she could be in the other room and she'd hear that the commercial come on. She'd come running like, I hate that damn dog.
You let him in again.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good stuff.
Dogs are smart.
Right?
So smart.
Check this out. This Octodad here. I'm wondering if that means he has 8 kids. That's crazy if he does. You have a lot of patience. So he's asking, what advice do you have for riding with your spouse or your lady?
I think it'd be along the same lines as being an octo dad, and it's just patience.
Yeah.
You just can't Sarah and I, we have a really good dynamic and we can really press each other's buttons without exploding. So I know how hard to push her.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just riding that tightrope of pushing them hard enough to like do things that they can do, but not making them have a bad time.
Yeah, definitely. My lady, when we first got together, her ex was into mountain biking as well, and the experience that he gave her compared to the experience that I showed her, she was like, she hated it because he was always like, you got to do this, like, and just like. And then she rode with me and my friends, and we're like, hey, you can sit down and take a nap. It doesn't really matter. You're tired climbing? Cool. Let's go back to the truck and drink beer. She's like, wait a minute, this is totally different. And
it's supposed to be lax.
Yeah. You're supposed to have a good time doing this. And I think that's one of the key things, at least for me, like is, just remembering that I don't know where I was going with that, but one of the key things is I think remembering what it's like to be a beginner. This year I've had a few friends that were getting into it that I've been helping, learn how to ride. And it just like, there's so much I take for granted now. I've ridden bikes since I was a teenager, or a little kid really, but mountain bikes since I was a teenager. And like, people are like, now they're like, man, I got to shift gears. I got to brake. I got to know when to push this button for this dropper. Like there's like, and they're still just trying to like figure out how to steer, you know what I mean? And it's like, to us, we're like, oh yeah, there's one chunky spot on this trail. And then you get out there.
Like, just let your bike do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And there's like a million things that you didn't even think about. Cause you're like, you don't think about it. You're like, oh yeah, there's like, that thing that I think is just a pebble is like a boulder to them,
Exactly. Well, with Sarah, I'd classify her as like super green, ultra beginner. The last time she was on a bike, she was on a motorcycle and ran it up the side of her house. So that's like her biking experience.
That takes talent.
It does. It does take a lot of talent to get straight up. But so when we started, like I kind of started on a little more advanced features than maybe she should have been, and quickly dialed it back. Like I was like, yeah, I made a mistake. Let's go hit this green trail instead. Yeah. But just having the point of view of not knowing anything, I got a good refresher this last winter because I've been snowboarding for like, I don't know, 15 years now. Never skied, totally foreign. So, and Sarah's totally expert skier, will do like backcountry skiing, well, slack country skiing, double blacks and stuff. So when she slapped me on a pair of skis, like the whole 2-footed thing not connected, like it didn't make sense. And just having that, like, Sarah, stop, don't make me go down this stupid blue square, it's gonna kill me. It was just like a good refresher to be like, yeah, those are a pair of shoes that you're in once in a while, and it's not really comfortable to be there. So having somebody that's going to be understanding, patient, and not push you down, like kick you down the slope, it's really nice. So yeah, definitely. And I think what you said though a second ago was pretty key too, like knowing like how much to push them, because ultimately like you do need to like you use it even with your buddies. Your buddies will be like, dude, you can do this. Come on, roll this rock or whatever. You know what I mean? So like you have to do that as well, but it's a little different because you know, this is your relationship too, you know? So it's like, you know, like Katie and I were riding this spot last weekend, and I was like telling her, you know, your lines, you're having a harder time going through this technical stuff because you're like trying to dodge all this stuff and like go over this rock, and it's a straight line then, and you'll actually be able to like go through this little like rock garden a lot easier, you know, instead of trying to like maneuver your way through it. You know, I was like, and she was listening to me, but she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, come on, let's walk back up here and let's do this. And you could see the look in her face was like, I don't want to do that. But I knew she needed to like do it to like realize like, hey, because it was like a little like I don't know, like a 2-foot kind of rock roll thing, you know. It was like, just roll over this thing instead of trying to like get all squiggly through this line, you know. And she did it. She's like, that really helped, you know, but she didn't want to, you know what I mean? But if she would have wiped out, man, I would have felt like a dick, you know. I know. Well, with that last video before today's, me coaching Sarah on that rock roll portion, it's the same kind of thing. She did not want to do it at all. There's like, I don't know, some edit that I had to cut out. It was just like, I really don't want to do this right now. And I was like, I know you can do this. And I made sure like I was behind her so I could catch her if she did fall, and she would at least break me and not herself. But the best thing about that whole situation and her finally doing it is further on down the trail, there's like 2 more rock rolls like that, and she just did them and completely unlocked half the trail just by getting over that one little mental block. She has so much more terrain that she can ride, and it just took about an hour of being pissed at me. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of how the game's played.
I will say that video is probably the video that I enjoyed the most this week, just because of one line that she said. And because I was like even telling somebody this story the other day because I was cracking up. You're like, oh my God, babe, you did it. That's awesome. She like made it up. This, for those of you guys that didn't see the video, like there's this like rock, this huge rock in front of them. Let's just say it's probably like 6 feet tall or something like that. Would that be about accurate?
About,
yeah. You just got to run right into this thing and just
straight up onto
shoot up onto the top. And she just, you know, she just couldn't picture herself doing it. And I think she was just afraid that she was going to fall or whatever the reason was. So she finally nails this thing, and he's like, "Oh, that's awesome! How did you do it?" Like, or whatever. And she's like, "I don't know. I closed my eyes."
Yeah.
I was freaking dying. I was like, "Oh my God! Next time I come into like a super hairy technical spot, I'm just closing my eyes. Fuck it."
Close your eyes. You know, what you can't see won't stop you.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, she said that. I was like, God, no, Sarah, don't do that. Don't do that. It was funny. Yeah, I had to laugh about that too.
100% classic, dude. That's awesome. Oh man. So, do you guys travel at all much, or?
The plan is to travel a lot more. That like this whole past year, everybody knows what happened, but this past year we're going to do a lot more traveling and cover a lot more races. Like I had a bunch scoped out, and we were going to kind of make a little bit of a loop. So yeah, next year we're going to be doing more traveling. Hopefully more on.
So what was it that happened?
COVID.
You're just saying like COVID. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure that we were on the same path there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like when we were going to start traveling was in like March.
Oh wow.
And that's when it really started to ramp up, and everybody was shutting everything down, and yeah, just like this isn't going to go away. So let's kind of regroup, replan the year, and figure that stuff out. So like for Sarah's 30th birthday this year, we were going to go to Hawaii, had to cancel all those plans. But yeah, hopefully this next year, I'm working on that van so we can ultimately take it down to Arizona. I'd love to like make a circle, start at Idaho, go over to Seattle, down through Portland, California, Southern California, and just make a loop, Sedona, Moab, and back up. So I mean that's kind of the ultimate goal. I've never done something like that myself, so it's kind of out of my comfort zone. And
yeah, I would totally love to do that. I've been trying to talk my lady into a van, and she's just not having it.
Just you gotta get a smaller van. That's what I have.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
A little one.
Just a little one, super cheap that will putt down the road. That's all you need.
My one buddy, he has like a 4Runner, and they like him and his wife. They like overland or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, so like they just sleep in the back of that thing all the time. And
yeah, I hear those are great.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, just get a freaking camper shell for your truck, man, and just build it out. And he made a good point to me yesterday, because like every time I talk about a van, like Katie does bring up about like how much it costs. And he's like, maybe, you know, if it's not very expensive, then it should be down, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, I mean, if you're not opposed to driving a small covered trailer, I'd had the thought of towing that behind my truck and just totally decking out a covered trailer like you would a living space. But yeah, I mean, then you're hauling a trailer.
Yeah, that's the downside. See, I have this like whole like Google search pattern that I do, how this whole thing goes. So it starts like, I should get a tent for my truck. And then I'll just do that. And then it turns into a camper shell. And then I watch like 3 hours of videos of guys building out camper shells. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I should just get a teardrop. That would probably be good. You could still like go off-roading with that. So then I started with those. And then somewhere along the line, I end up looking at a van, and then I look at vans for fucking hours. And then I finish with that, and I'm like, man, that's hell of expensive. How many hotels could I stay in by the time I paid for a van?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, screw it. And I walk away, you know, it's like, oh, they're just one a day.
A whole 8 hours of Google.
Right. Damn it. And the worst part is like, I can tell you this and laugh about it, and I guarantee you within the next 2 weeks, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like horrible.
Creature habit.
Right. Oh my God. It's just so pathetic.
I've always been attracted to the vans, though. This is my third van. And I just, there's something about them, you know? Yeah. I think the main thing I sold Sarah on, it goes back to my wife and her fears of everything. She's terrified of bear and cougars and stuff. And I was like, well, you know, if you're on a rooftop tent on the top of your truck, and a bear or a moose comes into the campground, you're kind of just stuck up there until it goes away. Right. But if we're in a van, I can jump in the driver's seat and we're good to go. You know, like, yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe we should do the van.
There you go. That's what I need to do. Tell Katie about snakes. I don't think she likes snakes and rats or something like that.
Oh yeah, tons of snakes and rats where we were going to go.
Everywhere. They're everywhere. Gotta have a van.
But it's going to be great. Don't worry.
Yeah, right? Oh my God. I don't know, man. Now I know what I'm doing on the internet tomorrow.
Yeah. Woo.
Right.
One day all planned out.
So that van that you got, it's like a 90 something?
2000.
2000?
Oh yeah, cutting edge.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that don't know or haven't watched his channel, he's building out this 2000 like minivan. Like think about like what a soccer mom would drive back then, except this one is like, it used to be like a cleaner, like a carpet cleaner or something like that.
Yeah. an old janitorial van, old
That's
Chevy Astro.
Yeah.
Oh, it had the best graphics.
Right. So, but you're in this thing, like, this is like a different kind of van build, because this is like the budget build. Like,
yeah.
You didn't you just recently did like a lift kit on it or something like that?
Yeah. Added a 2-inch lift on it and added some bigger wheels and tires, which actually cost more than the van itself.
Right.
Which is really funny.
How many miles does this thing have on it?
I bought it at 148,000 for a 20-year-old van.
Yeah, that's actually,
I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So
right.
But, the funny thing about it, I don't think people were buying it at all because there was one key thing wrong with it that made it so it didn't have steering or brakes. So the way that
kind of like two important things for a vehicle, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
The fix for it was just a power steering pump, but the power steering pump powers the steering, obviously, and the brakes for some reason. So when I drove it home, that wasn't working. So I needed like a 20-car buffer, and I would slam the brakes all the way to the floor and just like coast to a stop.
Oh, wow.
So guarantee that's why people weren't buying it, but it was a $70 fix, and the brakes work perfect now. So you just, I don't know, you just got to do your research and know what you're getting into. And honestly, kind of got lucky with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Low mileage.
What'd you end up paying for it?
$1,000.
$1,000. So you got this van for $1,000. Then you spend another $1,500 on wheels.
Yeah, we're still under $3,000, but no,
Right.
it's coming along really well. I got a few more maintenance things to do to it, and replace like a rear window and stuff. But
so how'd you get into all this? Like, how do you know how to do that stuff, man? They don't teach that in graphic artist school, you know?
Right. No, I mean, I've always liked cars and mechanics. Like I've ridden dirt bikes since I was 4. So at that point I was working on my dirt bike, washing it. That's about all you can do at 4 years old.
Right.
But you graduate from that to replacing spark plugs, replacing the oil, and just eventually started working on motors. And me and my dad, we rebuilt a motor out of his Camaro. That was like his childhood car, and he taught me how to rebuild an engine. And I'm just not afraid to tear something apart. I think that's like one of the key advice things. If somebody were to ask me advice on this subject, which they haven't yet, but I'm going to give it anyway.
Yeah,
it's just not to be afraid to tear stuff apart, because there's Google there to tell you how to put it back together.
Right. Yeah.
So
totally.
I just tear stuff apart and try to put it back together, and now I've done it. So
every time I've done like work on the car, like most of the time I like how I do it is I like enlist one of my friends that knows how to do it, and I like ask them to help me, which means like I stand there and drink beer while they do it. And but every time that I've done that, I'm always like, man, this is like way easier than what I expected it to be. I like just recently my daughter's car, what was it that went out on that? The water pump went out on it. And it's exactly what you said, dude. Like it was one of those things where it's like, dude, it's gonna be like $500 to get this replaced at the dealer or whatever, right? I'm like, I know this is like a $40 part, like, and I literally like YouTube the exact year and make and model of her car, and like somebody's doing the job, and it's like, well, I can follow this guy for 15 minutes and do it. Yeah. Like,
Same.
Yeah, it's totally cool, So it's like, boom, I'm done. Like, then I look like a hero.
Right. Master mechanic overnight.
Right. My dad fixed it. That's right, I did. No clue what I did though.
And don't ask me to do it again.
Right. Yeah. I actually had done a water pump a few years back. One of my buddies helped me, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I got this one. But yeah, every time a lot of things in life are that way though. You know what I mean? It's like you're just scared to do it, and then you do it, and you're like for the longest time, I didn't want to bleed my brakes on my bike. I don't know why. You know what I mean? And it's like so simple. And it's like, it was just one of those things I was like, I'm not doing that. That's just...
Well, when there's mystery in it, it's like, how bad am I going to screw it up?
Right. Yeah. It's definitely. And now it's like, I still don't bleed my brakes. I just keep adding fluid.
Right. I just know how it's done, but
Right.
it'll work itself out.
Yeah. Just open that screw up. Just keep dumping some more in there. Last time
I handle a little bit, you'll be good.
Right? Yeah, it's good, dude. It doesn't matter. Why'd Robert hit that tree? I don't know. He's never bled his brakes, and he's put like 5,000 miles on that bike. What do you expect?
Well, no brakes means you go down the hill faster. So
right, exactly. That's what it is. I'm just teaching myself how to corner better, right?
Oh yeah, working on the side knobs.
Right. How'd you get into mountain biking, man?
Well, I've always liked biking. Again, ridden motorcycles since I was 4, but I got out of dirt biking, like actually racing, and always wanted to do downhill. So I bought this old, at the time it wasn't too old, but like a 2007 Kona Stinky Primo, like the 45, 50 pound DH bike, and tried to go pedal that uphill. It was not a fun time, but just always wanted to do it, and just finding the right group of people to finally go out and ride mountain bikes with, and it's just never left. Like once it's in your blood, it doesn't leave.
Yeah, totally.
So and I started my channel as an excuse to ride bikes more, because life would always get in the way. Like, I'm not going to go for a ride this weekend because I got a yada yada. But if I have a video to get out every week, I'm riding my bike every week. And now it's kind of a habit, and I've gotten better at it. I enjoy it more. I've gotten a lot of people into it, like around my life. Like, oh, you're doing this channel. That looks really cool. I'd like to try it. It's like, yeah, come on out. So I don't know. It's just, that's kind of how I got into it. It just looked interesting. I started doing it and just kept doing stuff around it.
Yeah. That's super cool, man. That's definitely pretty cool. It's definitely, you're right, man. When it gets in your blood, you can't stop,
Oh yeah.
It's, I started when I was in high school, and then I just a little bit through college and having young kids and whatever, got out of it for a little bit. And then, it was always there though. It was like, and so at one point I was just like, I'm going to get back into riding. And it was like, I didn't miss a beat, I'm still, and I think part that, that's great is that it's still like, when you're a little kid, you have a single speed, right? You got a BMX bike, and it's like, there's a big hill, and you're like, you can't make it up that hill. And every day when you're going to your buddy's house or whatever, you try to get up that hill, and you can't. And then one day you finally make it, and it's like, it feels so good. And then going down that hill or the other side of the hill every day was always like super fun, and that's like the feeling that you still get when you're like on top of a 10,000 foot mountain, freaking smashing rocks for a couple hours. You know what I mean? It's just like that same, like, feels awesome.
No, it's a nice escape, and then like a good way to revisit nostalgia in a way. Because I did the same, like huffing around on a crappy X Games BMX bike all around town, like 8 hours a day, jumping curbs, doing all sorts of crap. And I get that. Yeah. Like you said, you get that same feeling. Yeah. And that's definitely what draws me back to it.
The other thing too, that I was telling somebody yesterday is like, when I'm like riding bike, obviously not when I'm not climbing, this applies, but like you're not thinking about anything else. Like when you're descending, you know what I mean? Like there's no bills, there's no like car payment, there's no like leaky roof or broken faucet, there's no like anything. There's no problems in the world except for like you and how you're gonna like get over that rock or through that turn, or and you can't pay for that, man, other than heroin, right?
Right? Yeah. Just complete bliss.
Right? It's like, it's definitely it's good for your soul. At least I feel like it is for me,
I've never had something turn my mood so quickly than a good bike ride.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be having a crap day, be in the worst mood, pissed off at everybody, and my wife's like, you should probably go on a bike ride. Please get out of the house and leave me alone, and come back after your bike ride.
Yeah.
And every time I do, I'm just like, oh, hey, how's it going? We're great. Right. I'm super happy again, because it just lifts everything off your shoulders, just like cleans your brain out.
Yeah.
Of all that backed up responsibility and stuff.
Yeah, you can be irritated as hell at the bottom of a climb, dude. And by the time you get to the top of it, you're like, I'm over that. You know?
Yeah, I'm pissed off at something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not that anymore. That's funny. You were saying that you started the channel, and I'm losing my train of thought. And you were just having fun with it. What the hell was I gonna say? I don't even remember now. Well, there you go. That's, when I was in high school, I smoked a lot of pot. And I thought I used to always make jokes about how you wouldn't I don't need any short-term memory. And now all of a sudden I'm 43, don't smoke pot anymore, but can't remember shit. So
yeah, that would have been nice to have.
Yeah, right. Maybe it wasn't a joke.
Maybe there was some truth to that.
There was something there. So what I was going to say is something that your channel brought you. Oh, that's what it was. Like you were saying that you're stoked that you got to get other people into it and stuff. Was there anything that your channel brought to you that you weren't expecting?
Brought to me that I wasn't expecting. I don't
for me. For me, I could say I know when I started my channel, I wasn't thinking that this would be a side effect, but it instantly made me start going all these other places to ride, because I wanted to film somewhere else, and that I thought that would be interesting, and now it's before, back then it was like 4 places that I rode on rotation, you know what I mean? And once every 3 months or something like that, we'd go somewhere else. You know what I mean? But other than that, it was Auburn, then Rockville, then Salmon Falls, then Auburn, then Rockville. You know what I mean? It was just the same thing. And then every once in a while I'd be like, oh yeah, we'll go to Downeyville. And now it's every weekend it's dude, where are we going? And those other places are they're just filler spots where it's I don't have time to go anywhere else. I guess I'll go there. And that's been really cool for me, man. I never traveled before to go ride bikes, and now I've ridden in other states, and it's just so cool, man. I would have never thought hey, I'm going to Hawaii for my buddy's wedding, we're gonna ride mountain bikes while we're there. You know what I mean? It would have been we're gonna go to Hawaii and we're gonna get drunk as shit for a week, dude.
Right. That is kind of a side effect. This next weekend, Sarah and I are headed out to Seaside up in Oregon. And it was just going to be let's just unplug normal, forget about YouTube, forget about mountain bikes, whatever. There's nothing to ride on the coast anyway. But I looked on Trail Forks, and there's a brand new trail system that they're starting to put in 5 minutes outside of Seaside. So I think we might bring our bikes and go do that. I guess one unexpected thing that came from my channel is a bike sponsorship. I never thought that would happen, especially with such few viewers that I have. And that's been really cool.
You got 30,000 subscribers, man. You guys came up pretty quick too, if I remember.
That's true. But when I got the sponsorship, I had 5.
Oh yeah.
Which I was why? Why me? But that's been really cool, working with a bike brand and seeing what goes on behind the scenes.
Who's your sponsor?
Polygon Bikes.
Oh, right on, dude.
Yeah, they're based out of Indonesia, so the time difference, we'll talk once a day.
Yeah.
Send her an email, get a response 14 hours later. But no, it's been really awesome. They've been a really good company to work with, and
I met a guy down here. I met a guy that was he was starting a channel, and it was one of my subscribers. I met up with him, and he had one of those. Is it Siskiyou or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Siskiyou. Yeah. That's what I'm on. The end.
Yeah. That's what he had, and he was talking about. I mean, looked at it. It was looked like pretty clean bike. He's yeah, it's way cheaper because it's not an American bike or whatever. And what I mean, obviously, you're sponsored by them. I mean, what how do you feel about it?
I like it quite a bit. There's a good amount of things that I've upgraded on it, just like any bike. And it was easy to tell where they spent their money on the bike and where they saved the money, because the Siskiyou is more an affordable bike. And that's something I've always been about. I bought this old creepy van with no brakes because I'm always hunting for a budget.
Right.
So I'm totally fine with making my own upgrades to the bike, but out of the box, that thing,
had you even heard of them before they reached out to you?
I had, yeah. I'd heard of Polygon Bikes, but they hadn't really been selling in the U.S. market. They've been mostly in the Australia and New Zealand market. And I think in Europe as well. But this past year, they made a push into the United States.
So they just reached out to you?
Yeah, they just reached out to me. I didn't say anything to them. Like, hey, would you like to collaborate with us on your channel? And I was like, yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
it's really cool. But like at the time, I had just bought a brand new bike. I just bought a new YT. I was like, I have a good bike.
Right.
It's going to be a good decision. And it definitely was. The bike is definitely different than the YT. A lot more. It's easier to pedal up. And not realizing that, it's such a luxury to have a really good pedaling bike other than one that's pretty heavy and chunky. So,
which bike did you have?
I had the Capra AL. I bought in the AL Limited with the coil shock and everything. So it was like a fun bike downhill. So it was awesome at the park, but pedaling uphill, you could do it. But man, you spent a few extra calories doing it.
Yeah. So you're digging this thing though, huh?
Oh yeah.
What is it so just the pedaling is what really stood out to you whenever you first got it?
Oh, and the way it handles too, like the Capra, the bike like really wants to just go straight down through everything. Just like it is literally a steamroller.
Yeah.
But the N9, like it's really agile. So you really like pop around and pick your lines. And that's what I really like about mountain biking is to be able to do that right there, having a nimble bike.
So it's like playful. It's a playful bike.
It's more playful. Yeah. It climbs really well, tracks really well going up. It doesn't wander like the Capra did. So yeah, that's super playful, playful, fun bike.
That is super cool. It's funny how like some of that stuff, like I feel like you don't notice it until you get on another bike. Like, you know what I mean? Like where you're saying like the Capra wandered, like it might've been one of those things where like, at least for me, it would be like, dude, I would just like deal with it and not really think about it. And then I'd ride some other bike and be like, oh, my bike doesn't do that.
Weird.
Like, yeah. This is actually way nicer, you know? I always tell people like, how do you know you have how do you know you have crappy brakes? You get better ones. You know what I mean? Like the first time I got XTs from whatever like crap brakes were on my bike, I was like, oh my God. Like I remember pulling the brakes and feel like I was going to go over handlebars.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's like, and I'm like, these things are amazing. And then I got like Saints and then I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Craziness. So,
crazy times.
So, you're thinking that you thinking like, COVID's going to go away after the election? You guys are going to be able to get on the road next year, 2021?
I'm hoping spring 2021 will be a little easier to do. I think at this point it will be anyway, just because everything's kind of changed. People know how to handle it a little bit better, other than just like brand new frenzy. Everything is hitting the wall. So, but next year for sure. Yeah, I'm going to up here in the winter. We have about 4 months of snow with no biking. So I have like 3 or 4 months of content that I need to fill in the winter, and it's hard when you can't ride. So the van build is going to be one of the prominent things that we do over winter, and outfit the inside, do like bike storage. That way in the spring, start making some trips.
So are you guys, you met her in school. She does the same thing as you then, or she does the graphic design as well? She did. After doing it for a little bit, ended up didn't liking graphic design. So now she's a tattoo artist. Oh, cool.
And she's doing super well at it. She's like booked out 6 weeks, really good clientele, and she loves doing it. She's happy doing it. And
that's super
happy.
Cool.
Happy wife is a happy me too. So.
Yeah. I was just thinking about you guys being on the road, because you were saying you like freelance with your graphic design as well. So I could see you being able to do that on the road. For her,
tattooing, you can actually do guest spotting at different shops. Like the tattoo community is pretty, I don't know, communicative. I wouldn't say like close knit. But yeah, like going over to Seattle, she can talk to an artist shop over there, be like, hey, I like your work. I would love to guest spot at your shop for a couple days if you would have me, you know. You can go to that location, do some work, do some travel, come home, or just like make stops. So
yeah. Oh, that's super cool. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like at her shop, she's had artist guest spot there. They just like set a booth up for them and let them work,
Right on, dude.
It's rad.
I'm super stoked. I'm going for an appointment next week to get a new tattoo.
And what is it?
Yeah, dude, I have, aside from this awesome freaking tribal that I have, I have the 90s tribal band around my other arm, and that one I actually don't like. This one I'll take all the jokes about the tribal sleeve. I don't even care.
Yeah,
I like it, so it doesn't really fucking matter.
That's what
right. So, yeah, right. So, but the tribal band around the other arm, I've been like, man, I've wanted to cover it up for so long, and I just didn't really know what I wanted. I knew I wanted to get like a half sleeve on that arm and like something kind of like go up over the shoulder, maybe on the chest a little. And I just couldn't really figure it out. And I don't know, just recently, the guy that did, I have this like a biomechanical kind of thing on my leg. And the guy that did that, he does like really good, like Japanese waves and stuff, Okay. And I always liked the water that he did. And I was like, I think I'm going to get like a koi fish and an octopus kind of thing going on with the waves and stuff like that. And
as a sleeve.
Yeah. Oh, so I think I'm just gonna do like a half sleeve and then kind of up over the back of the shoulder and like onto the chest a little bit.
Like kind of like a Japanese traditional.
Yeah.
No, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. And plus then it'll have a lot of like because that cover up's gonna be a pain in the ass. So hopefully there's enough shading in the fish or the whatever's going on around it that they'll be able to hide that. So he's a good artist though, so I'm not tripping. I'm sure he'll figure it out. But
yeah, they'll take care of it. That's why you pay him.
Yeah, right.
Fix me.
Yeah, dude's expensive, but man, like this one on my arm, like I don't wear sunscreen, dude. I mountain bike all the time, and like I've had this thing for like 10 years, and people are always like, "Is that new?" I'm like, no, I just paid real money for it,
Right, yeah. Well, that not only like with a tattoo artist, you're paying for their skill, but you're paying for their experience and like the type of tattoo and the location. So if you get something detailed where it gets a lot of sun, it's just going to turn into a black smudge. If you get something big and bold, it's going to last forever. So
yeah, definitely. So I know he wasn't stoked whenever he did this one because I was like, this is what I want. And he's like, Really?
I
was like, you don't even understand, dude. Like 13-year-old me, when I saw freaking George Clooney and Dust Till Dawn, I was like, I want that.
That feeling stuck until you're 18, huh?
Right?
Yes.
Oh man, I'm full of bad decisions, dude. I'm just my whole life is all based around them. So here we go, right?
Interesting.
Oh man. So I'm hoping that Sedona Mountain Bike Festival happens next year, and that's in March. Do you think you'd be making your way down to Sedona by then?
I would love to. This last February, we went down the week before because it was my birthday.
Oh.
And, after Sarah surprised me with the trip. She's like, "Oh, by the way, open this box. It's an itinerary for a trip we're going on. Yay!" She's the best wife in the world.
That's so cool.
I can't argue that.
Yeah.
But after she made the trip and I was looking into it, it's like, oh damn, we just missed the bike festival by a week.
Oh yeah,
that'd have been really cool. So I think it's on the radar for sure. I would really like to go.
That was like my last hurrah of normalcy before freaking COVID. We were all down there and it was like so much fun. And I remember thinking that it was going to get canceled because like COVID was just kind of like bearing its little ugly head at the time, I remember there was some other like festival in Texas that they had canceled like a week before, and I was, man, I don't care. I got plane tickets already. As long as they don't shut down the airports, I'm going no matter what. I'm gonna ride, and so we got to go down there and have a great time. It's so much fun riding down there. It's
so different.
Yeah,
it's so different. I brought my big bike, like 170 mil of travel, and did not need that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but it was so fun.
Arizona has this way of making downhill uphill. Did you notice that? Like we'd be like, all right, we're descending and we're climbing somehow.
Oh yes, that's definitely it. Like every trail, it's just this the whole time. Like a little bit of down, then you go back up, and it was awesome. Like it made the climbs not excruciating. Like you got breaks all the time.
Yeah. Everything's really punchy. I know Hardtail Party had done a video on Sedona like right before the festival, and he was like kind of like telling people like, hey, you can go here and like expect this or whatever. And he's like, if you ride 20 miles at home, you'll ride 10 miles here. He's like, it's just, you know, it's the truth though, because you're like so active, like pulling up over this rock or punching through this little punchy climb. And like,
you're just like, that is the most true statement I've ever heard, because we went on a full day ride, and halfway through the ride, we were both beat up, and I looked at our, the Strava, and I was like, shit, we've only gone 3 miles. That's it.
Yeah, totally. That is 100% Sedona. And yeah, did you get to do like Slim Shady, like easy breezy?
We did Slim Shady. When we went, everything was wet, so we were trying to like stay away from the really gooey trails, but we did Slim Shady. That was a super fun trail. I really wanted to do it's Highline, right off Slim Shady. I wanted to do that, had Sarah with me. I didn't want to take her on it. So that'll be a future trip. But
I did that one last year for the first time. It was fun. You know, a lot of people, I'm afraid of heights. So like a lot of people thought that I wouldn't like that trail because of some exposure on it, but that one actually didn't bother me.
That's good.
All. Yeah. You know, like I'm kind of weird about it. It's like the only part that bothered me was like wherever it's like this big, beautiful view that everybody else would be like, oh, awesome. I'm like, put the GoPro up here. Can we roll the fuck out already?
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Stay like 20 feet from the edge. I can see it from here. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. Katie and I were out at the down the ocean here, and there's this place called Mavericks. It's like a big surf spot, and they have these huge waves, and it's kind of like cliffs to the ocean, you know. She's like standing like right on the edge of it. I'm like 30 feet behind her, like, oh my god, dog. Like I'm like, can you back up? You know, like I'm like freaking out. It's not even me standing over there. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Right. That's kind of like the tables flipped right there. Like it's just a 6-foot rock roll, Sarah. Calm down.
Right.
It's just a 100-foot cliff, Jim. I'm not going to jump off it.
Right. I'm not going to just fall. Like in my head, I'm like, I don't know. There's going to be an earthquake. You're going to trip. I don't know. You're going to see a bee and try to swat it. You're going to fall off the edge. I have all these ideas of how it's going to, I just know it's not going to be good. Get away.
Every scenario is bad. So just step away.
Which makes no sense that I'm a mountain biker, because then it's like yesterday, I'm like up on the side of this fucking mountain. It's like, what are you doing, you idiot? But
I don't know. It's the same. I've always been told that. Like I get nervous about a lot of stuff, pretty anxious. Like even like at the start of this interview, it's just like, okay, let's make it through this. But then people tell me like, you jump on a dirt bike and you ride this stuff on your mountain bike. How does just like public speaking scare you? And it's like, well, when you're riding a bike, everything, like you said earlier, clears out of your head and you're just focused on that.
Yeah. I think for me too, like as long as it's not like, and this is the part where Sedona gets me, where it's like sheer and there's like nothing to like
grab.
Highline, for example, like on that trail, like anywhere if you fell, there's like all kinds of shrubbery. So it's like you don't feel like you're gonna be like, whoa! You know, like, but there's another trail that I rode. I did a video too. I was with Jeff Lanowski from Trail Boss, and it's like Wile E. Coyote running off the cliff. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing for like 1,500 feet below it, dude. It's like you fall off the side of that thing. That's it. That's the end of the day, dude. You know, like,
that might freak me out a little bit.
Oh man, I fucking lost my mind. You should watch the video, dude. It's pretty funny. And like, I'm like, it's probably not even that bad. You know, honestly, like I watched 30 guys in front of me roll right through it. Like it didn't even matter. You know what I mean? But to me, I got out there and it just like is like off camber and there's this huge drop. And then there's this like, you know how the backdrop is in Sedona. Like everything just looks like this like huge majestical like mountain. You know what I mean? So it's like this huge like canvas out in front of you, then this big drop, and Oh man, I was walking I got off my bike. I'm like walking. I just need to make it like through like 15 feet or whatever it is. And I was fighting the thought in my head that was saying, you should probably crawl, dude. You know,
Yeah, no,
like,
I know that exact feeling.
I'm like, I got the GoPro on. I'm like, you can't do that, dude. You got to just come on, get your shit together.
You should have crawled with the GoPro. That'd have been hilarious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So maybe I'll go back next year. And I wanted to go back there this last year and try to see if I could convince myself to ride across it. But and then like kind of make it like a spoof or like a white line kind of spoof thing on it, you know?
Right.
Everybody else is doing the white line. I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't even want to see that.
You got this. You've seen this line,
right? Yeah, I'm just gonna take a bunch of chalk over there and draw it all over the place.
Oh,
I'd like to go see that though. Like, actually, that was one of my goals for this next year is to go up to the white line just to check it out. Like,
you haven't seen it. Sarah and I did go.
Yeah,
it's pretty far up there, and it's like, why even do that?
Right.
I have perfectly good trails down here that are way fun.
yeah. Dude, it is like having a miniature heart attack every time I watch one of these guys do a video up there. And I'm like, dude, I'm a YouTuber. I know they edited the video. They didn't die.
Yeah, right.
Like, right. But I'm like watching it and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna fall.
He's gonna die. Oh man. Yeah, no, I like taking some risks, but I don't know if that's a risk I ever really need to do. I hear it's a pretty easy trail, but
yeah. I 100% guarantee you could put that exact same like feature in my front yard and I could ride it all day long. But you put it up there, I probably can't even get within freaking 100 yards of that thing, dude.
They'll put anything next to certain death and you don't really want to go near it.
Right? I don't understand these guys that are up there just doing that. I'm like, oh my God, what's the point? Like, what is the point?
What is the point? Just to say you did. I mean, that is the point, to say you did it. So,
right.
Kudos to you if you've done it.
Right.
I will probably not.
Yeah. I need to come up with something that everybody else thinks is scary that's not scary to me. Like, I don't know.
A mortgage.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to drink 15 beers a night, guys. I'll show you guys. You'll never even know. They'll be like, he's going to die.
He's still going. Oh God, somebody stop him.
Somebody stop him. Oh God. Like I told you, dude, my life is full of bad decisions, man. So where else, like you said, you guys want to come down through California, anywhere in specific that you want to ride?
I don't know a whole lot about mountain biking in California, but I have seen that Santa Cruz has some pretty good stuff. I've always wanted to go there too. So I definitely need to research, but Sarah has some family down in SoCal, so we'll probably spend some time down there. So any trail recommendations around that area, or I'm ready.
Yeah, like SoCal, are you saying like LA area or like San Diego or?
Yeah, like we're close to Santa Monica. Would be staying close down there. So, but I mean, we can drive.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
You're only going to drive like 1,500 miles to get there. I would imagine you could go.
Yeah, right. I'm not doing it trailhead.
I don't know a whole lot of what's going on down there. It's
like you're in Northern California.
Yeah,
right?
I'm in Northern California. I'm in like Sacramento. So
yeah, definitely would want to stop up there too.
Yeah. There's a lot here. This like at least for like what I would consider our best riding is in the Tahoe area. So that's obviously a kind of a summertime place,
right?
But depending on what time of the year that you're here, like Santa Cruz is good, especially in the spring if you're coming down around that time, because then they do most of the trail work in the winter, and so the trails are usually pretty dialed. California, especially Northern California, like this time of the year, the trails are like, it's been dry for months. It's just everything's starting to get pretty blown out, but
just cut and chunky.
Yeah. Just, or like the burnt, like somewhere like if you go to Santa Cruz, like the berms are going to be all like screwed up and, brake bumps from everybody that apparently doesn't know how to go through a berm.
You're supposed to glide through it, people.
Yeah. What are you doing with your brakes, man?
Yeah.
But lots of stuff in Tahoe. I have had this conversation probably a billion times. Like, I don't know what it is about Tahoe, but for some reason it doesn't get like the notoriety of like all these other mountain biking kind of destinations. But the riding up there is just phenomenal. And the only thing I can come up with is that they don't really have, like, it's not a lot of like lift access places. You know what I mean? There's like one North Star. There might be some other places that are starting to put them in, but most of this stuff is like, dude, you gotta work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like yesterday, I mean, we shuttled part of our ride, but we still had to climb from whatever it was, like what, 7,000, probably. We were probably at 7,500 when we started, and we climbed up to, like I said, almost 10.
Yeah, still a good climb.
But we descended for freaking like 12 miles. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, dude, like that's sick. You know, like that is crazy sick. You know, I had what is that dude's name? Gene from a YouTube channel, Regular Guy Mountain Biker. Have you ever seen his channel? He's from back east, and he came out for some like work thing. He was in San Francisco, and he went up there and rode with us. And we took him on this trail. It was like, basically, it was like 9 miles of downhill. And he's like, I've never done that in my life. Like, he's like, you know, like, he's like, where I ride, it's like, you're like 3 minutes and you're down, you know, even at the place that they have lifts, you know, it's like, yeah, dude, you know, this is what we do. You know, it's like,
this is the norm.
This is mountain biking. What do you mean? You know?
I rode with a dude this summer who was he's in the Air Force, so he gets stationed around, but his last assignment was in like North Dakota or something, where it's just flat. And he was huge into mountain biking, but he's like, yep, I pretty much just like did a little bit of BMX ish because there's nothing. And then come over here, Silver Mountain, like it has 30-minute downhill constant laps. I can't remember the vertical descent, but to go from like just nothing to complete lift service gondola all the way up to the top, just like rocked his world.
It's totally different. It's interesting though, man. No matter where you go, this is the one thing I've noticed, that it's fun riding bikes everywhere, man. You know, like like just places that I wouldn't have expected, you know, like Phoenix, for example. Like when I rode there for the first time, I didn't even realize there was a big ass mountain outside of the town. I'd been there like a few times already. You know what I mean? Like in my life, never even noticed.
Not just swimming pools and backyards.
Right? Yeah. You know, like, so I like went down there and rode South Mountain. It was like, this place is sick. I would have never thought that, you know, or like I saw Single Track Sampler did a bunch of videos in Vegas, like outside of Vegas. I'm like, there's something other than casinos there, you know?
Right? Yeah. No, that was one really surprising for me. Like Vegas is just like the Strip, right?
right. You know, it's like just I don't know. Like I rode down in Austin, Texas with no front brakes, and they have like this little lift access place there, and I think it's called Spider Mountain.
I've heard of that.
I think it's like 300 or like something like between like 300 and 400 feet of elevation from the top to the bottom, you know? So I go out there and I'm like, I have this mindset of like California where I'm like, dude, like 300 feet elevation loss. I'm like, that's like driving down to like, you know, down to the store or something. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know what to say. You know, it's like, that's like a quarter of the climb that I normally do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like thinking this is going to be lame, but it was fun. I had like a super good time, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, it's lift access, right?
Yeah.
You can just do tons of little laps.
Yeah. But either way, like other stuff that I've seen those guys post too, it's like they have some fun trails there, you know? Like even if you think about Sedona, like for example, a lot of that stuff is not like it's like we were saying earlier, it's like up and down. You know what I mean? It's not like this, like what I'm used to riding out here where we like, you know, do a grinder climb for like an hour and then we like descend for 15 minutes, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is, you know? So it's like, it's definitely a different kind of riding.
I kind of like that riding better, to be honest, because like the hour-long fire road climb, those get old after a while.
They do get old, but I think that's that part where you like get to like work out your problems, you know? Like sit and
find yourself,
shit, right? You know? I don't know. Yeah, sometimes sometimes they're good. Sometimes you're just like, I'm freaking over this. So
right.
So
I need an e-bike.
Right. All comes back to e-bikes.
Yeah, right.
For sure. Yeah. So definitely if you're in the area, man, definitely hit me up, dude, because I definitely show you around no matter what time of the year.
Oh, I will. Yeah, for sure.
But Santa Cruz is like the most popular, one that most people know of is like Demo Forest, which would be like the Flow Trail and Braille, and those are super fun. Somehow they built this like these trails that you have to climb in and out of. I don't know how that's possible, but you have to climb both ways. So
that sounds super fun.
Yeah, but they are awesome trails.
Yeah,
you go up, you descend, and then you have to go up to get out. So it's like, what the hell, man? It's like this makes no sense. But they're super, super fun trails. So that's the part where you're like, I guess I'll do it. Right. But the other spot that is UC, which is UC Santa Cruz, and that's all aside from like some like joke of a like trail there's like one legitimate trail there that's like, you could take your 5-year-old kid on.
Yeah.
But then there's like hundreds of illegal trails. Like everybody rides. And for some reason, nobody's allowed to talk about, like, if a YouTuber like makes a video down there, like people are like blowing them up about it. And it's like, dude, there's 100 cars parked in that parking lot every weekend with freaking tailgate pads and roof racks on it. And you guys are acting like it's a secret, like,
yeah. Oh no, that's funny. They don't want somebody from North Idaho coming up and wrecking the trails, I guess.
The funny thing is like, there's major bike companies down in that area, and they will film their like promo videos and shit like that on these trails. It's like the videos that you're watching are like on a not legit trail.
They're illegal videos.
It's just, I don't understand why the city like doesn't embrace it. Like there is so much money being spent by all these guys coming down there, and like it's not like it's all locals that are riding there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, that's super true. Like it's hard to convince people that like recreation like that is a good thing.
Yeah,
people are going to come visit from out of town. And like I said earlier, we're going to Seaside next week, and I read this little article on that little trail system they're trying to build. And it looks like they have some fun out of it yet, but the main holdup is just like convincing the city council that like it will benefit the area. It's like, well, okay. I would definitely travel there to go mountain biking and spend my money on you guys.
Right. Yeah, we're pretty lucky here in California. I mean, that at least where I'm at, I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for the whole state, but where I'm at, it's like I have so many like fantastic places to ride within like 3 hours of where I live. You know what I mean? And it's like lots of them are epic, and like, so it's like, and there's like so much in Tahoe that like every time I go up there and ride, I talk to somebody else that tells me about some other trail that I've never even heard of. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even understand how there's so much. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
this is awesome. Maybe that's why it's good that it's not for, maybe I should stop talking about it.
Yeah, you should just
shut up, man.
There's no trails there.
Yeah, there's nothing here. I was totally joking. So yeah, dude, there's definitely some good stuff. If you get to come down in the summertime, like one of the big ones that everybody talks about is Downeyville. That's, I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's got like any mountain biker, you only tell the good part. So you're like, yeah, it's like 14 miles of downhill, dude. They drive you up in a truck and you just come down, but there is some climbing. So everybody seems to let that out. It's like a half a mile in the middle of the trail. You're like, really?
Just give me a heads up, man. I wouldn't be mad if you didn't keep it from me.
Right. So, but there's just so much to do. I rode up in your neck of the woods. It must have been last year at this point because we were traveling. So I was up in Sun Valley area riding. It was really, it was really cool. I mean, that's not as north as you are, but
I've never been to Sun Valley, but I've heard some pretty good things.
Yeah.
I think this past year they were closed for a bunch of maintenance and stuff.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
don't fact check me on that. Well, maybe you should to tell me I'm wrong, but
right.
But yeah, I heard they're doing a lot of work to the place, and
I'd like to go back up there. Honestly, man, Idaho is one of the places that I would consider leaving California for. And it's like there's a short list because to me, like whenever we're talking, because my daughter's about to graduate from high school, so after she's out of high school, we're like,
it's up in the air.
Yeah, you want to go somewhere? We can
what
go.
What do you want to do next?
Right? Like we could go live in friggin' Germany for a few years if we want to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But so we're like, well, what states? And to me, it's like, first of all, it's like, okay, well, first there has to be good writing, and there's like, there goes a whole bunch of states are gone. Like, so it's like, all right, like, and it has to be the kind of writing that I want, It has to be perfect weather all the time. I'm like, I basically talked myself back into California. I'm like, what the hell?
They're just gonna move down the street or something,
right?
Yeah. I mean, so like where we're at, like I said, our winters are definitely snowy. So you have to switch sports. So in the winter, ski, snowboard, fat bike if you got them.
Yeah.
But in the summer, there's so much biking here. It's crazy. Like I'm kind of surprised that there isn't more like videos and footage from the inland Northwest because it's such an awesome area.
Yeah. Do you do the fat biking?
I don't. I've never tried fat biking.
My buddy they have a cabin up in Tahoe, and he was telling me like that's his thing in the winter. It's like they have all these like snowmobile parks, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like as soon as the snowmobiles go through, like he can just fat bike like on top of their tracks. So it's like he's like, dude, I'm like riding all the same area that we mountain bike, but now it's under the snow. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Right. No, I've definitely wanted to try it.
It sounds fun, man. Mm-hmm. I just like I used to do snow sports too. I used to ski a lot, and but living here, it's like I can ride like good trails all winter too. So in the winter here, it's like we're getting rain, so then our trails are like super tacky, and the weather like it's not super cold, so it's like it's hard. Especially with the way lift tickets are now, it's like some places are like $120 for a lift ticket. So it's like that's a joke, man. I got a brand new set of skis that I bought like 2 years ago, and I've ridden them once. It's like I used to like all summer do my summer stuff, and like first snow, it was like that's it. That's all I'm doing until I can't anymore. And
no, it's definitely an expensive sport. That's one thing that I like about mountain biking is once you have your bike, you can just go ride it. And but when you're doing skiing, unless if you like have a skin set up and you can hike up, you're mostly paying for lift tickets. And like you said, they get up to like up here, our most expensive mountain for a season pass is like over $1,000.
Yeah, that's
just like for 1 year of skiing. I mean, you can easily pay for it because the lift ticket prices are so high.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's definitely an investment. It's super fun.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and forget about it if you don't bring your own beer or like you want to go get lunch while you're there. It's like it's like there's another $60, $70. Like definitely don't want to have a few after you're done because that'll be it's like holy cow. Yeah, that's the nice thing.
Yeah, you just got to fill up the flask and then put a sandwich in the truck and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's the way to go. I used to like just put a bunch of beer in my backpack and a sandwich or something like that, and then I'd stash beers all over the mountain too. There's some guy riding up there right now like, why the hell is this Coors Light sitting in the middle of this hill?
I actually had that happen once with a bottle of Fireball.
Yeah,
I think it fell out of someone's pocket. It was right in the middle of the run.
Oh yeah,
and it had like 2 drinks taken out of it. So it was like, okay, I just took a couple pulls, put it back, and let somebody else enjoy it. It was awesome.
That's super cool. So you were a snowboarder when are you converted to skiing now, or just did that for fun the one time?
No, I'm trying to convert to skiing, but snowboarded since I was in like middle school or something. So pretty well versed with it. But like the whole 2 feet versus having your feet strapped into a board is just hard for my head.
Yeah.
I'm getting it though. This last year, I was able to do all the blue squares pretty easily, and did a couple black, kind of skated down the black diamond runs on skis. But it was definitely humbling for me.
Yeah.
I'm usually the guy that just goes straight down on the board, but getting on skis, it's like, pizza, French fry.
That's funny. Yeah. When I learned to snowboard, it was like back home in Pennsylvania, and basically that's what we were doing, just pointing straight down. We'd walk up some hill and point straight down it, build a ramp in the middle of it, and maybe another one at the bottom, and it'd be like hit that, and then walk back up the hill. So I never did it in a resort. And then whenever I got older, I learned how to ski, and I've always just skied. So it's fun though. It's super fun, but man.
It's actually kind of re-sparked my love for winter sports skiing.
Yeah.
Because in the resorts, I don't do park and stuff. Like I've taken too many rails to the chest to really want to do park anymore.
Yeah.
So unless if the snow is like blower powder and there's awesome glades, the snowboard on groomers just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But on skis, like groomers are still fun when the snow's good, and
totally.
And you can get to a lot more places. Unlocks more terrain, so you don't have to unstrap and like do the pogo leg on a snowboard to try and get over the ridge.
Right.
So it's
or you get definitely flat. You can just kind of like skate out of it. Where on the snowboard, you're like, guys.
That was like the coolest thing ever. Getting off, like the first time I got off a lift on skis, I could just keep going down the hill.
Yeah.
I didn't have to stop and strap in on my butt.
Right.
It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. That's a fun sport too, man. They're definitely good. Have you thought about trying to like take a GoPro up there and like put something like that on your channel?
I think I might do that this winter, because there's only so much shop content that I can do in the winter, and that's kind of a reason why I named the channel The Shredist. And it's kind of a hokey name, I get it, but I made it so it was like a activity agnostic. So like I can go, I don't know, shred on the slopes. I can go shred on my mountain bike. I can go shred on a dirt bike. So I can just do all these sports activities instead of being like Jim, the mountain bike guy.
Right.
Now Jim is skiing. What's going on?
Yeah, totally.
It's just a small detail, but it's something that was in my head.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. You actually answered the question I was just going to ask you anyway, was like how you came up with the name. So I guess that's it there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it there. I mean,
yeah. I guess I should have rethought biker before I really kind of pigeonholed myself there, didn't I?
Right. You either got mountain bikes or Harley Davidsons.
Right.
There's only two things you can do.
I can do dirt bikes too, I guess.
You can do dirt bikes, yeah. Ski bikes.
Yeah, all kinds of bikes. And you know what? Maybe it wasn't a bad idea. That's like one of the hardest things of starting a channel, dude, is coming up with the name.
Oh, I had a whiteboard with like 30 things written down on it. It's like, no, that one's shit. That one's shit. That one's shit. This one's okay. This one's okay.
Right. And then there's just like two parts of it. So like, because I know your background, it's like you have to have a name that is A, not used, and B, that you can actually get a domain for, right? So it's like
domain was available.
yeah. So that's part of like why I ended up doing biker the way that I did with the one, was like it was easy to get that domain because nobody likes to misspell words, like or whatever,
That's definitely a huge part of it. Like when I got mine, the domain was available, the Instagram was available, the YouTube channel was available, the Gmail was available. So
for me it was like almost all the things lined up, but it was like somebody on like Instagram or something like that had biker. And so then that's why I'm like, all my social media is biker B1 instead of just biker. And I was like, I don't know.
Dang it.
Yeah. You know what? You
got to make him a cash offer.
Right. That's what it is. Buy him out. Give me your Instagram account. Yeah. Then, as soon as you say that, they're like, people get greedy. They're like, oh, this guy must have money.
Oh,
$1 million. Yeah. I'm like,
dude, I was thinking like $30. That's all I got.
Right. How about like a 12 pack of Lagunitas?
Yes.
Right.
As long as it's the summer shandy.
Yeah, there you go. So you're a beer guy?
A half beer guy.
So you're more of a liquor guy or like a wine guy, or?
I do like my drinks, my mixed drinks. I kind of go, you're going to make fun of me, but one of my favorites is a rum and root beer, like a Barks.
Oh, that sounds good.
Like a spiced rum, Kraken rum with Barks root beer. Can't drink too many of them because they're so sugary, but man, they're so good.
That's cool. They have I don't know if they sell it, but it's not your dad's root beer up there.
Oh yeah, we got dad's root beer up here.
Yeah, those are pretty good too, man. Like there's a few different companies that came out with some of those, but that one was actually pretty good. Like it's like the root beer, and it's
Henry Weinhard's. That's another root beer, right? Like with the guy with the old face on it.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, Weinhard's is a beer. There's another like Henry's something root beer that's just good. It's so good that I forgot the name of it.
Yeah,
just go into a trance.
So if you like root beer, Jeremiah Weed has a whiskey that's called a sarsaparilla whiskey. It tastes like root beer. Oh my god, it is.
That would be good.
It will get you in lots of trouble. I've had a few. I've had a few live streams out here in this garage, and freaking people talking me into doing shots, and it got fucking ugly. Like honestly, that stuff tastes so damn good when it's cold. It's like, and I'm not a liquor guy. I like never drink liquor. Like I'm totally a beer dude. You know what I mean? Like few and far between is it like some kind of like maybe a Bloody Mary or a margarita every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. And oh my god, dude, like I honestly have not bought another bottle of that because every time I'm like, just the right amount of beers in, I'm like, oh, it sounds like a good idea. We should do something. Yeah,
just go down that road.
Oh yeah, man.
The glasses, they're so tiny. I can have so many of them.
Right. Well, it's like because I'm a beer guy, I know how to pace myself with beer. I don't know how to pace myself with liquor because it's like it's a swallow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when you're doing shots, I don't think that's a game you pace.
Yeah.
I think you're doing shots to do shots.
Yeah, but even if I was to put it in a glass, like I just don't know how to drink it. Like you, I'd just be like, bloop. Oh, that was really good.
That was great. Yeah. Well, I'll drink like scotch on the rocks, and that definitely makes you sip it.
Yeah, and I'll slow you down. It comes with brakes.
It's good. Good brakes there.
Right.
But yeah, no, I like my scotches a bit. I'm not like a connoisseur or anything.
Yeah.
But I definitely like sipping on drinks during the holidays and stuff.
Yeah, I should probably move to something like that. That way it's like less calories, man. I tell you what, because beer is what got me in trouble. It's like that's what got me. It's what got me. Yeah. Man, it's good, but man, it's definitely it packs a punch.
Yeah.
But you know what, dude? I my channel is doing really good right now because of the whole weight loss series.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how that's going.
It's going good, dude. It's like, but maybe like I used to watch that show, The Biggest Loser. Do you ever see that show?
I've seen previews.
Yeah, I used to watch it. I used to, like, and at the time that I watched it, I was like in like super good shape. I used to always think, man, I wish I should get fat so I could get on that show. That looks like really fun to be on. And I'm like, now I just did it myself. I got fat and I made my own Biggest Loser on YouTube.
That's all you gotta do. Self-starter.
Right? I'm like, this is it. This is how I did it, man. No, it's been a fun series, man. I really YouTube's full of like surprises, at least for me, where it's like things that I didn't expect to happen out of it, and like with that, like there was actually like zero thought of me inspiring other people to lose weight when I started that series. Like to me, it was just like, all right, dude, you're fat enough. You should probably lose weight. And well, I guess I could make some videos about that.
Yeah, this will be good content. Burn some time.
I was like, oh, this will be something different, Yeah. And, it really like, oh my God, there's so many people who have been like, telling me their stories, and it's just like, it's really satisfying to like see somebody like the other day, last weekend, I was on the trail. This guy's like hiking with his dad, and we all ride by, and then we're stopped at like this little trailhead, and they walk up, and the dad like says to me, he's like, hey, do you do YouTube? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, yeah, my son said that you're a YouTuber, and so like then the son starts talking to me because he watched my weight loss stuff, and he's like, "You inspired me, man. I lost like 27 pounds." I'm like,
"That's awesome.
It's crazy, dude. Like,
yeah,
that's nuts, man. Like, I am like definitely not a good role model. Apparently, like, this is somewhere I'm having a positive effect on.
You're getting to be a better one. It's
right?
Baby steps.
Yeah. I'm like the worst out though, because like, A, my sense of humor, and B, I also know, like, I just know me. So I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, I can't wait to hit my goal weight so I can start working on getting fat again. And they're like, you're not going to do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you don't even know. It is so fun getting fat. You don't even understand. It's like, you can eat whatever you want. You can drink whatever you want. You can just sit around. You're like, you know what? What did I do on Saturday? Not a fucking thing, dude. Just sat on the couch and watched.
It was great. Yeah, no, I can see the attraction. I mean,
yeah.
I've been known to down a few sleeves of Oreos in a sitting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. With me, it's like all or nothing with things. So I'm like, I should change it to not all or nothing. It's like all or all. Like, I'm all in on being in shape, or I'm all in on being fat. It's like, yeah. Good.
At least you're fully into it, no matter what road you're going down.
I'm 100% committed.
Committed individual. I appreciate that.
Right. So you said come through California. You said Sedona. Where else are you guys thinking about going on that road trip?
I'd like to go up through Moab, southern Utah. I've actually never been in Utah in any facet.
Yeah.
So that would be all new to me. So that's definitely like one of the high points on my list. Go down to ride, maybe would be cool to see like the old Rampage site. Go see what's going on there. Even though I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff.
Yeah.
More than half the stuff.
That stuff is just insane.
Yeah.
I don't even understand how those guys do that. I knew I met this guy, Andrew Taylor. He raced in Rampage, and he's just like super chill. He was on Biker Bar like a year ago or something like that, and just super chill guy. But it's like he rode the when I met him, I was riding the trail that I rode yesterday, and there's like this spot where it's like this crazy chunky technical like wall of rocks that everybody's like, let's see who can get through this, right? He like goes through like half of it and then just decides to like jump off of this one that's like 10 feet up in the air to like a huck to flat, and it's just like that was like the line for him. Everybody else is like down here, he's like halfway down, like whoop. We're like, what the hell? Like,
well, I guess the furthest line is in the air.
right. Yeah, totally. It's interesting when you see people with like skill sets like that, like how they attack things. Like,
it floors you. It's just like, wow, I have a long way to go.
Right. Or like somebody like, do you know anybody that does trials?
I don't, not personally. No.
First time I ever was around somebody that was Jeff Lanowski, and watching him in Sedona, like he would come to these features, and like to us, it'd be like, just try to like muscle your way right through that thing, like pick the path of least resistance. And to him, it's like, he like kind of like rides up and puts his wheel over here and pops his other wheel over there, and then rides over this, and then pops it up, pedal to pedal up. And then there was, it's like, it's just like almost like you just watch it and you're like, wow, that's like, I don't even see it that way. You know? Yeah. It's just make it look so easy and stuff.
That's one thing I really need to work on is like technical bike skills, like I'm good at going down, but as soon as you like tell me to try and pivot turn, just like my brain turns off, and people that can do that second nature, it's super impressive. Yeah,
totally. I need to like spend, maybe that'd be a good video for me to do, like spend a day in the driveway trying to figure out how to like endo turn. I need to do endo turns, man. Because those super tight switchback situations, it's like I can get around most of them, but some of them it's like, man, if I could just endo turn, I'd be like 100% set,
Oh yeah, And people be talking
cool as shit when you see people do it on videos too, right? You know, you're like, oh, that looks sick.
Yeah. Well, I've had that same thought, like just spend 6 hours straight trying to wheelie better.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, that just sounds boring to watch on my channel. How the hell would I make that interesting?
Do you ever watch a guy's channel, Mike Boyd?
Mm.
He does like how to do stuff, right? So like let's say one of them would be like he wants to learn how to wheelie, right? And he's going to make himself a challenge that he has to be able to do a wheelie for 50 yards. So he'll start a stopwatch and then he'll show you like exactly like how much time he actually spent practicing. So, and he'll try to figure it all out on his own. And then if he needs to, he'll like look shit up, but it'll be like, so at the end of it, you're like, he'll be like, yeah, it took 8 hours to learn how to wheelie 100 yards, you know? And you're like, when you look at it that way, instead of, I mean, it might've been 3-4 weeks that he was working on it,
right?
15 minutes here, 20 minutes. Yeah. You know, but it's like, oh, wow. You know, like that doesn't seem that bad. Or it's like, you know, it really only took him 15 minutes to learn how to rip a phone book in half. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
that's like a good thumbnail and title right there.
Yeah, you know, but like that's the stuff that he does, like all these like weird stuff. But like one of them was a wheelie. I think he did one was a manual as well. He's done a few bike things, but then the other ones are like, you know, shit like, I don't know, open up a champagne bottle with a sword, you know, like stuff like that, you know.
Did you do one on like how to break a glass with your voice?
Yes, yeah, he did do that.
Yeah, I saw that video. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, you go to his channel, man, you just get sucked in. You know, it's one of those like, all right, there goes 3 hours. And then I feel like I need to learn something. He's the one that got me to decide I wanted to learn how to do a Rubik's Cube. That's why that thing's sitting back there behind me.
Oh, yeah. I never could do that.
Yeah, I never could either. And one day I was like, you know what? I don't know what it was. For some reason I was bored, man. And I was like, I need something to do. And that's what it was. I was playing like these games on my phone. And I was just like, I'm just sitting here like playing these games on my phone when we're like watching TV or whatever. And I was like, why don't I like do something like positive with my time, right? Yeah. So I was like, you know what? When I was a little kid, the only way I could solve a Rubik's Cube was like take all the fucking stickers off. You know, like
put them that's one way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I remember taking them all off. I took them back and showed my mom, and she was like so proud of me. She's like, "Oh my god, you did it!" And I was like, "Yeah." And I totally never told her I took all the stickers
until
off.
Now.
Right? Yeah. Hopefully she's not listening.
Yeah. Right.
So there's Jeff Lanowski right now. That's crazy. He just popped up in the comments. You know, he must have heard me talking about him. So, anyways, yeah. So, anyways, I just decided I was like, I'm gonna buy a Rubik's Cube, and so there's what they call algorithms. It's just like steps, like if you do these certain steps, like it'll solve it. And there's guys that do those. They solve those in like 5 seconds.
Oh, I know.
Like just the world record's like 5 or 3 seconds. It's like I don't even know how they like. I used to play guitar a lot. My fingers were pretty quick, you know. But you watch those guys that like just like you did, like it's like it's done. You're like, what the hell? So
yeah. Speaking of which, just recently I've had to rebuild my calluses.
Oh, there you go.
It took a good hiatus from guitar and those soft fingers on the strings. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's the thing that screws me up now, because it's like, you know, I might have a little too many beers every now and then I'll be like, grab the guitar. I'm like, I'm in the gym, and then I'm like 10 minits in, and my fingers just feel like they're gonna bleed. I'm like, and I'm not in the gym.
I need nylon strings again.
Yeah. It's just like it's over. It's all over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spent like freaking, I don't know, man, a couple of weeks that all I did was that stupid Rubik's Cube. Like constantly, like I said earlier, like I'm all or nothing, you know. Like I would wake up like immediately as soon as I woke up, it'd be like, oh, I need to, you know, like just
hit the alarm, grab the cube.
I swear I'm so bad, dude. I'd be like doing it like while we're laying in bed, like going to sleep, you know. And I'd be like, I'm going to try to finish this because I wanted to get it under a certain time. I think I was trying to get under 2 minutes or something like that, and then I think I was trying to get to a minute, and so I did it like all the time, and then I set the thing down for whatever reason for like a month or two and just didn't touch it. And then one night my buddy was out here and he's like, can you still do that? And I was like, yeah. And I picked it up and I was like, I forgot.
I don't know how to do it anymore.
I forgot how to do it.
It's that whole short-term memory issue again.
Oh, in high school, man. It just keeps sneaking up on me.
Just keeps biting me, man.
Oh God! See, kids, that's why you're not supposed to smoke all the pot in high school. I guess you're
Can't
supposed
do
to
Rubik's cubes in old age,
right? Oh man! So, is there any other channels that you like to watch? I always like to ask people, even if it's not mountain bike related. Like, what do you like to watch?
I watched a lot of Colton Haker. I don't know if you've heard that guy.
What do they do there?
He's a hard enduro rider, professional, rides for Rockstar Husky.
Okay.
He did vlogs for a while. He doesn't do them anymore, but I really liked watching his stuff because one, I'm into enduro riding, but it was kind of nice to see like the inside of a pro, like what they go through. So his stuff was pretty fun to watch. And lately, I don't get to watch a whole lot of YouTube because I don't have internet at my house. So I'm just kind of cut off when I'm at home, which is good. You know, I kind of do. I read books, I guess.
How do you go about deciding to do an internet-based business whenever you don't have internet?
It was before we moved there. I started the channel just before we moved. And when we bought the place, we have 5 acres where we're at. And it was always my dream as a kid to have property to play on, and finally got it. And I was going to do a bunch of trail building videos and stuff on that because that wasn't really happening at the time. And right when we were like signing paperwork on it, that subject is like blown up, trail building. But yeah, we don't have internet there though. So it makes uploading videos a huge pain in the ass. So I like my schedule has to be like even stricter because I like need to set aside an evening to drive and upload a video and then come back. We have some internet. It's HughesNet. It basically shouldn't be internet, but
like
it's satellite internet. But like I can do like the metadata and all that stuff. But definitely it can be a struggle sometimes.
I can imagine that. That's definitely something that kind of gets in the way there. But I guess I see what you're saying. You can do all your editing and stuff. It's not like you need the internet for that. So
like I'm just working with local files when I make the videos. So just compile it and then ship them off.
I think one of your trail building ones was one of the first ones that I saw on your channel. I think you were building like a skinny or something like that in your backyard.
Okay. Yeah. The 2 skinny.
yeah. But I remember that one too, I think.
The one that was really popular was the adjustable drop one. Like that one took off like fire. That was
what did you build?
It's an adjustable mountain bike drop where you actually like ratchet it up and down. So like it goes from like a blue square that's only like 1.5 feet off the ground to like 6 feet off the ground.
Oh, wow, that's super cool.
So, yeah, it's like a big legit adjustable drop. And all the ones that I'd seen before were just like, we're going to make it from 3 inches to 7 inches. So I was like, well, I want to make one that's like my wife can hit it, but then I will hit it and it'll be challenging. So like the first time I hit it, the tallest setting, like it kind of scared the crap out of me. But yeah, no, that was the one that really took off. And I got a lot of subs from that.
How many views did the video get?
That one has a little over 200,000.
Oh wow. So it like blew up.
Yeah. Like it was slow to start. And then all of a sudden it was just like, okay, now it's at 50, now it's at 100, now it's at 150. So YouTube definitely took hold of that one and threw it out there.
So yeah, your channel like got big pretty quick, man. Like if I remember correctly, like it was like you guys. So you think that video was like the springboard for you, or
that video was a pretty good springboard? Yeah. From that, like the month that it came out, I got over 12,000 subscribers in a month.
Wow.
And like I knew when that happened, I was like, that's going to be hard to match that kind of growth. And I mean, if I would have done trail building videos every single week, that trend would have kept up. But like, I didn't just want to do trail building. Like I like to do other aspects of mountain biking. So like I like to cover races, and I like to travel and do skills videos with my wife and stuff. So I sprinkled the trail build in there for sure. And I have a lot of fun doing it. But man, is it a lot of work to get one of those out in a week.
Yeah, like, I don't know how Seth does it, dude. You know what I mean? Like I can totally see how like some of the stuff that he's talked about on his channel recently, I don't know if that's on his channel or maybe it's just on Patreon. He's like, hey, it's tough to get these out, so I'm going to do this other channel so that I can like do stuff that's super easy and quick, and like it makes sense, because it's like that's tough, man, to be able to put out content like that,
Oh yeah. No, like the adjustable drop video took me 2 weeks to do, so I had to like buffer it with one video.
Yeah.
And I probably just in the build of it probably had 60 to 80 hours.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you need to edit it and all the other stuff that goes along.
Right.
Yeah, so like being a one guy show, like to be able to put out a trail building video like that every week, like that's huge respect. Huge respect that you can do that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. That's super cool, man. That video blew up, man. Right now, my last vlog on my weight loss video is doing really well. I'm like, is this going to be the one? I haven't had one that's blown up yet. So I'm hoping like YouTube's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy in the back.
Right. I'll show a little bit,
Yeah, we'll sprinkle him a little today. You can have a little bit. I'm like, when is it going to happen? I guess I should just make good content. That's my problem. I don't make good content.
You don't need good content. You just need good thumbnails.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Those clicks. That's the thing I struggle with a lot. It's just like, oh, is this thumbnail good? Is this one good? I don't know.
Right. I wish there was a guy, one of the guys on the Slack group a long time ago said that he wished that they had like an A/B thing. And at the time, like I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. And now I'm like, oh man, I wish they did. Where you could be like, really like have two thumbnails and just see how well the video does, because like you don't know, like the way it is right now, it's like you could change your thumbnail and if it starts doing better, you're like, oh, it's the thumbnail. Maybe maybe some dude shared it on some board and all of a sudden people started looking at it. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know, like, so it's kind
of. I did honestly probably shouldn't have done it, but the video that I uploaded today, I uploaded it with a thumbnail and I sat on it for like an hour and a half and it was just bothering the crap out of me. And so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go and change it really quick, and like instantly saw better improvement. So like at least my gut told me that it was a bad thing to click on, and I got it to do. But yeah, it's like those small things as a YouTuber, like when you're first starting, you wouldn't think that matters much. Like, oh, I made the video, let's just like half-ass it. Okay, thumbnail, that's good, it's live, people are gonna watch it.
The thumbnail is that's it, man. It's like your pickup line,
Oh yeah,
like you get one shot, dude, and that's it.
I was terrible with those anyway.
Right? Yeah. I did a lot better with them whenever the girls were drunk. So like, I just can't get everybody in the world watching YouTube hammered. And then if I could do that, I'd be a really good YouTuber.
Right. I got lucky with my wife. I insulted her and she didn't run away. So.
Right. She's like, man, that's awesome. I'm coming back for more of that.
Right. That was a good burn. Wow.
Oh man, and then as time goes on, then they don't think you're funny anymore, right? Mine all the time is like, really? I'm like, you used to think that those jokes were funny. Now they just annoy you.
Yeah, seems about right.
I got all the dry ones at home, so she's always like, I knew you were gonna say that.
I got a closet full of dry jokes that
I'm on this I don't know where somebody showed it to me or something like that, this Facebook group that's like dad jokes, and it's like, oh my god, it's my favorite. It's like all dry like memes and stupid like dry humor, like dad joke kind of stuff, and it's just like, oh my god.
Oh man, yeah, if you ask my friends about my jokes, they just cringe. Like I just say them to try and make the room exhale.
Are you like a joke sniper? Is it you just no good at it, or like?
Oh no, like I'd like to think I'm good at dad jokes, but I purposely make really, really bad ones to try and make everybody roll their eyes. Like, I don't think it helps like my character in any way.
Right. That's hilarious, man. Well, dude, we're like pretty close to 2 hours here, man. I don't want to keep you online all night, dude. It's super fun chatting with you, man. Even though you were anxious about it, it seems like you did pretty good to me.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's super fun. If I can convince the wife to join, maybe we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. Anytime, and just hit me up. Because honestly, dude, the hardest part of this podcast is finding people like to get on the show every week, you know. And like when I was doing it on my last season, like I would book people out, like I'd have people like a month and a half, 2 months out booked, you know. And this time when I did it, I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just get people every week, because then if something comes up and I want to do something on the weekend, then I can. And I'm not like, hey, I set this up with, you know, this company, and now I'm like obligated, because I don't want, you know, to look bad to them. And I don't want to like look bad to my subscribers, because I told them that's, you know, this person was going to be on, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
And in that first season, I kind of got burned out. Like I didn't think I would, but I got burned out, because it was like every weekend I really only had one day of my weekend, because the second day was like I had to be home, you know, like by a certain time to be able to like do whatever I needed to do. I mean, or even just to be here, just to like be able to get online, you know. And so this year I'm just kind of like winging it. So definitely, if you guys want to, anytime you guys want to chat, hit me up. We'll make it happen, man.
For sure. Definitely. No, I had fun.
Super good time chatting with you. So all you guys listening, if you didn't hit the like button yet, you should do it now. If you didn't like it, hit it twice. Hit the subscribe, right? Yeah. So hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. That this is what I do every Sunday, except for when I don't. So I definitely appreciate all you guys, man. If you want to be part of the sponsorship group here, you can go swing by my Patreon. It's patreon.com/B1KER, B1KER. I'm pretty sure it's biker there. I told you earlier everything was biker B1. That's my Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, there's a link. You know, there's a link and show more. You can hit my Patreon up that way too. So, anyways, man, I really appreciate all you guys hanging out and kicking it with us for this last 2 hours. And once again, Jim, dude, it was awesome. Definitely a good time. So everybody remember, it only takes a bike to be a biker. So get out and be one.